What's up, everybody? Straw Hats Are Cool here, back again with another tabletop gameplay video. This was round 3 at our locals. We've got Zoro versus Kuro. Before we get started, I do just want to say thank you to all of you who have been watching and subscribing to the channel. I'm honestly blown away by the success of my first video, and I hope to continue to provide content that you all enjoy. Talk a little bit more about that at the end of the video, but we're gonna jump into the gameplay for now. So the Zoro player did win the dice roll here and has opted to go second. So the Kuro player is just going to pass on their first turn. They're also a deck that does prefer to go second, as they've got a lot of 2-drops, and their curve just works a little better on that even curve. So we've got the Zoro player dropping an Ezo to grab a Whitebeard Pirates. Probably just going to drop the Whitebeard Pirates if I had to guess, and search again. So yep, that's what we've got here, searching the top 5 cards of their deck for a Whitebeard Pirates type character. Is not the same as Ezo, as it does very specifically have to be a character with the event. You can't grab events with the Whitebeard Pirate event. Kuro off to a bit of a slow start here, just putting 3 Dawn on leader and swinging 8k at Zoro's life, which they will take. Going into the Zoro player's turn 2, they're going to start with a 5k swing at the opponent's leader, which they're opting to take. Again, I generally think it is correct to take the first couple hits, as you don't want to strip your hand size down too low. Opponent dropped a Curly to Dawn, but looks like they have whiffed that one. Going to be dropping now a Gordon, followed by another Whitebeard Pirates to search the top 5 for another Whitebeard Pirates type character. Going to grab that Marco. Great in conjunction with the Gordon. If the Kuro player opts to play anything large, they can just neg 3 and drop the Marco to hit up to a 6k character. Kuro player looks like they're getting some dice just to be sure of how much life each player has. They're on their 5 Dawn turn now. Still taking a minute to think about what they're doing here. Gonna opt to put 3 Dawn on leader again and attack for 8. Again, pretty slow start for the Kuro players. Generally speaking, the Kuro deck wants to be filling their board. I will say, Kuro's a deck that not a lot of people are very high on. It's not, it's considered one of the lower tier decks of the format right now. But having played against the deck and seen the deck in action, it can do some pretty crazy things. So don't count it out if you run into it. So looks like they're going to start being a bit aggressive here. Put 1 Dawn on leader to give that +1 to their whole board. Swing 5 with both Ezo and Curly to Dawn. Counter out of the first one and take the second. Now they're going to be playing a Makino, buffing the Gordon up to a 6k now, that is, with the leader effect. So Kuro player is going to block that one, and then Zoro's going to attack for 7, and they will take that one. Already getting pretty low on life there for the Kuro player. They are at 7 Dawn now, which is the turn they can play their Krieg, which looks like what we're going to see here, dropping the Dawn Krieg. Get to trash a card and pop 2 characters on the opponent's board, since everything is less than a cost of 4. Going to trash the out of the bag and KO the Gordon and the Curly to Dawn. Okay. Krieg is also just a scary body once it's on the board. 7k and can get double attack. Going to be attacking the Ezo. I do believe that is correct here. I see a lot of players always going after the Makino, but in a position like this, I think it is more appropriate to attack the Ezo, because the Ezo has 2k base power, so it's easier to attack with, And presently, the Zoro player does not have any other one-cost characters on the board, and there are no one-cost characters with a rush. So I think it is more valuable to get rid of the one-cost characters than the Makino in a situation like this. If the opponent has several one-cost characters, I would probably go for the Makino just because they're going to have something they can give that +3 and get more value out of that Makino's effect. But Zoro player is now going to be dropping an Izo search top 5 for those Whitebeard Pirates type card. Really just keeping a healthy hand size. I think we see now they've played 2 Izos, 2 Whitebeard Pirates. So the crazy thing about Zoro is they can make the most of these small bodies and still maintain a large hand size by replacing with the draw. And that looks like we've got the 3rd Whitebeard Pirates coming out here. Going to be grabbing a Jozu, just a nice 2k counter. Zoro can't maximize it, but it is a searchable 2k counter, and that's why we play it. So Zoro is going to be swinging 7. They are going to take that one, triggering the Nami. Nami is the searcher for the East Blue package, getting to search top 5 for an East Blue type character. Opponent's taking a minute here just to look at what they've got. Looks like they're grabbing a Kurobi. Kurobi, poor stat line, but a very powerful effect. I still personally think that it would have been fine if it was a 4K. 3K is just one of the worst numbers to be. Is we've got characters like Vista and 5-cost Marco now who can just drop down and pop a 3K like it's nothing. So 4K is a lot better number to be at. Right. Now, the Kuro player did forget to pick up 2 additional Dawn this turn. They do catch it going into their opponent's next turn and just set them active if they have an event. But definitely a bit of a misplay by the Kuro player's part. But, you know, accidents happen. We're not perfect. We all make mistakes. Dropping the Gin to rest Marco and the Makino. Now opting to go for Makino, which I like here, as there is that 1 cost on the board, and they would be able to buff it up. And if they had rested the Izo, it would have been a lot easier to protect with just 1k as opposed to the Makino, who's a 0. So they're going to put the Dawn on Krieg, swing 8's going to get counter out. And here is where the Kuro player notices that they did not get 2 more Dawn at the start of their last turn. So they are setting those active, leaving them with 4 Dawn for events on this turn. Probably would have preferred to use those Dawns just to buff up that Dawn Krieg a little bit higher, maybe get that double attack to connect. Now, the Zoro player, he looks like he's got a bit of an awkward hand. I see at least 1 teach, 2 teach, I think. Another Whitebeard Pirates. A lot of cards without counter. So dropping those 2 Jozus to counter out of the Krieg double tech has got them in a bit of an awkward spot now, as it doesn't look like they've got a lot of counter left. Going to be swinging 11 with the Zoro. Kuro's only got 1 life left, and if I recall, the Kuro player makes a bit of an interesting play here. Based play nonetheless, but they are going to opt to use a Punk Gibson from their hand to rest the Marco, and then they're still going to take the hit. I'm not sure whether or not the Kuro player just didn't have counter available to them to use, but resting the Marco is good nonetheless. They do trigger another Nami, grabbing them a Hachan, which is the 2k counter of the East Blue archetype, at least for green. Opponent's going to use that 4 remaining Dawn to play another Marco. So now the Kuro player is in a pretty good spot. They've got 2 bodies, which they can use for their leader effect. And then they've still got the big Krieg and a Geen as well. So the opponent going through their Dawn, doing the math, just making sure they've got things right. Probably in a position now where they do need to go for game. They've not got any blockers. They do have a rather healthy hand size, but they've been taking a lot of those hits early, so I'm not sure how much counter they have available. Kuro player dropping a King of the Pirates card that I really enjoy. It's a fun card to play. 2-cost event which buffs your leader by 1k for every character on board, so that's going to buff by 4 for the Kuro player, making them a 9k. The Zoro player does not block with the Marco here, which I think may have been a bit of a misplay, because we do see here now that the Kuro player using that leader effect to rest it. Now they've gotten no value out of that Marco that they just used for Dawn to play last turn. Gonna swing with 9, and the Zoro player looks like they had to take it. I am an official judge for the One Piece card game, and one thing I do just want to point out is that the Zoro player did take both life almost simultaneously. If you were in a larger scale tournament, I would avoid doing that, as you do need to look one at a time, make sure those events get triggered in order that they were hit in. So Zoro player had nothing. The Kuro player was able to swing 9k for game. So that is going to be it for the tabletop gameplay video. Again, I just want to say thanks to all of you who tuned in, liked the videos, subscribe to the channel. I'm, like I said, blown away by the support I got on that first video, and I hope to be producing more content which you all enjoy. A lot of people were requesting some of the deck list from the previous video, so the next video I plan to push out will be a deck profile for my current build of the Rob Lucci deck. Currently running the CP9 package, but working on a Navy build as well. Lucci, just one of my favorite characters, so trying to mess around with him as much as I can. But if you have any other suggestions for content you would like to see from me, please feel free to drop it in the comments. I'm always looking to try new things and trying to find things for you guys to enjoy. So I'm open to anything, constructive criticism, things you might want to see me do different. But with that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this gameplay video. Got many more videos I'll be working on soon. But until then, I will catch you all next time.